Okay, so for today's kind of set of videos, I'm doing something much longer. I can already feel that this one's going to be long. But if you're clicking on this and we don't know each other that well, we know of each other and we check for each other, but we might have never even actually spoken. You could actually be in this video and you might have to watch all of it to figure out where you are. So if you give a fuck about this, it might be a long kind of process to slog through. So I'm covering the same topics from my last set of videos, but the lesbian league, so you know, the important women in my life. To describe what this feels like, I feel like this is like a Mortal Kombat kind of arena where not everyone's come in costume. Some people have really pared it back, you know, they're doing modernity into reality. Some people are really kind of at the Halloween costume section, really doing a performance. But either way, we're kind of all in this arena. And as much as we're there for each other, we're also, someone is like playing as us, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that it's a guy that we want doing that, if that makes sense. So there is a degree of distrust, isn't there? So I have questions for this. And for my scene that I'm in with the person, or kind of setting, this one is much weirder. Like, it's not that woke, per se. And it's kind of strange. But I was on the tube, and I actually had to write some of these down on my phone, because I was afraid I'd forget. Last one I completely improvised. But there's something simpler about it, and I don't want to make that distinction, like men are simple, women are hard. But I feel like I know exactly where I am with them. But with these ones, it's just more specific. And fingers crossed, I'm not going to do names for this, but fingers crossed people know exactly which one they are if they bother watching. Because I don't know if I could ever say this to the person's face, because it's weird. Right, so I'm on the beers today. And I'm going to try and be efficient, but I doubt that that's going to happen. Right. So I'm going to give this one away a bit. I'm starting with family, which I didn't do with my dad in the last one, but I've spent more time with my mum and sister. My dad left when I was about 12. So I feel like this, like girlhood, as weirdly unsettling as it kind of still is to me, I am more comfortable with women, I think. Right. So for the first one, what lip product are they? Like a basic lip balm, like from Holland & Barrett. Like less is more. Are they an asset in the arena? Ooh, I feel like they're really competitive. Like they're kind of like, they're insane in the arena, and they're like getting the slim screen cut with like the close up on the eyes. Like they're insane in the arena. But would they be necessarily there for me in the arena? I don't know. Do I like, love, and not trust them? This person is like maybe a full scope 1 to me. Like, I like them, I love them, and I do trust them. But that's not to say that it's simple. Like, we have a very like expansive, big scale, small scale, complete kind of rendition of that. Rate the connection out of 100. maybe somewhere between like a 22 and like a 400. And I mean like either or. And both are kind of as good as the other. But the 400 is weird. It's like, I don't know. How upset would I be if they stole my man? I think they just would. You just kind of accept that they'd beat you. And you would kind of be like, ooh, ooh, about it. But if they actually acted on it, it would be very... like, all of a sudden, I'd be in, like, a really sleazy, kind of Uncut Gems moment. Would you ask them to be your bridesmaid? Well, they couldn't be my bridesmaid. I think if I knew this person when I was younger, I wouldn't want them to be my bridesmaid. I think they'd be a critic in the audience. Yeah. And I'm not sure I'd agree with their criticism, but I feel like they'd just be sat there going, I'm not sure. What surreal scene are you in? Okay, with this one, I got so specific, but this is the exact, and it's going to sound, and I have it on my phone, so for some of these, I'm going to have to look for them. I think some of these that I wrote down, I'm not going to be able to fit in the video. I could easily do about 40 people with this, because I think with women at this point in my life, it just gets weird so quickly. Okay, so this person and I are both completely naked and on a giant leaf, and the huge giant keeps picking us both up and almost eating us, but I have severe OCD, and keep getting scared about the nudity, but the other person is extremely relaxed about it. Meanwhile, the giant is starting to think that I'm using a bad term here, but I just have to use it, that I'm a spastic, or dying, and keeps coming over more often and is starting to observe me like I'm a new phenomenon, and is getting the oven ready, like somewhere between being dissected and being cooked at the end. So I think that's it. And there's so much more I could dig into, but I have a lot of people to do. Okay, so next one. What lipstick product are they? God, I have to dig around. I haven't pre-prepared this. I don't think they'd actually like this one, but I think they're like a brownie matte kind of color to me, and I'm not sure they'd even wear it. This is like, okay, this is a little too red maybe, but they're like a brownier kind of version of this. Are they an asset in the arena? I feel like they're in touch with the people running it, like the actual company running it. They're like they're high up there. Like, they're designing the actual place. Do you like, love, and or trust them? I think we've never really explored like, because it's been all love. But there's something kind of fragile about that. and then I really trust them, perhaps performatively, and they don't trust me at all, but in potentially like a Tom and Jerry way, where they're kind of like, you're screwed, but they'd sort of pick me up and help me because they're like running around with the dice in their hands. Does that make sense? Okay, rate the connection out of 100. Like somewhere between a 15 and like a 95. But again, those two specific answers. But in the same breath, that 15 really hits. Like there's something about that 15 where it's like we're scratched up in glass or something, and it's like it's still so there, like you just couldn't get rid of it. How upset would you be if they stole your man? I feel like the guy would have to really pull out a performance. Like they'd have to, like I don't know, they'd have to actually, there would have to be secret ingredients to it that don't exist. And if they did, it would feel like going to the gyno or something. I don't know. Like, I have thought about it, but there's something weird about that, worrying about that. When I worry about that, it's OCD. Like, there's something strange happening. And not because they're not, like, they're gorgeous, they're fit, but there's something, like, I don't think we have. And in the same breath, at least 5 of this person's friends, I feel like I have the exact same version of in my life. So it's a bit like, ooh, it's strange. Like, there is mirroring, but it feels like they already know. Like, this is what happens with older people. It feels like they're looking at you from actually, like, 200 tiers above, and they're just constantly faking that they don't know what you're on about, but they're already like, they're like, ooh, I remember, I knew it, I predicted it, and I've had this experience. But that's like, they're a god, but not that you'd worship. It's like a weird. Anyways, would you ask them to be your bridesmaid? No, I think they'd also kind of be in the audience, being like, yeah. What surreal setting I always... This one, I swear, the last two I've completely nailed. This one is almost more expansive. I've condensed them, but I could be more detailed. We're at the British Airways lounge in an ad where we're moving on a breezy ice cube between the mini shopping centre inside and the jungle gym. And I think I'm constantly trying to get us to go to the jungle gym, but they hate that and they keep swerving us back to the shopping centre. And she's committed to buying me one of everything in the shopping centre just to prove that I wouldn't like anything in there. And I keep getting tickets to Denmark, and no matter where I go, I'm getting tickets to Denmark. And she's like tried going there twice, and she thinks I'm completely insane for only ever doing that. I think that's the surreal setting we're in. Okay, third one. What lipstick product are they? God, for this one, I don't know, because we haven't properly... This is like a strange one. This is someone I have the same birthday with, and I was best friends with when I was like 5. But since being 5, we've spoken maybe like twice. You know what? I feel like they're this kind of beige lip liner. That's like a tattoo lip liner. I think that's them. Are they an asset in the arena? No, I think to me, they're going to die. And they're like in a church kind of pastoral setting with everything seemingly going well. And I'm terrified for them. Do I like love and I'll trust them? I don't think I like them at all. I do think I love them, but in like a weird way. Because it's been so long and I don't trust them. Rate the connection out of 100. Maybe like a 26. Or like a 4. It's like so historical. But is it even like, it's in here though, you know? How upset would you be if they stole your man? It would be a Bollywood drama moment that I wouldn't give a fuck about. I think it would be like, I don't know, it would be weird. I need to stop saying weird in here because that's a crutch as well. Would I ask them to be my bridesmaid? No, that would be like a moment in a Lifetime movie where you're sat with the book and you're going like, oh, like I have to get that person in. But I would never have, this person's already married, I would never have pulled up for them. And I think if they pulled up for me, they'd destroy the vibe of my wedding. Like it would be, we're too like we're actually so different. And like, no, we're actually so different. Like, no matter how many changes I go through, I feel like we're always different. And I'm not sure I can describe why that's the case. I need to find the thing I wrote. Okay, we are in a weird beige cream, like heavy wedding invite that is actually made out of gnat flesh. And as soon as you touch it, it turns into total gibberish and releases a toxin intended to kill everyone on Earth. And that's why we can only ever have hollow conversations, because as soon as we contact each other, the mail gets sent off. And we're both unhappy vegetarians. Like, I don't know what I was on when I wrote this, but I think if I had to tap into the source of exactly what that relationship feels like, that's that. Like, something so trad and yet so toxic. I feel like my female on female relationships, have felt more like severe Jungian therapy, where someone is always popping out in the arena to teach me a lesson or to have some sort of like a weird exchange of information. And with some people, you just have been in there for longer together. You bumped into them a while ago, and yet you're still doing strange, magical Jungian therapy together. And everyone's kind of stubborn in there too. Right, next one. Okay, what lipstick product are they? If I had black lipstick, I would go for that. But I don't. I guess I can just rub mascara on my mouth and like do like a weird kind of grey. Are they an asset in the arena? I think they're like in the outskirts, in like a gothic treehouse. They're kind of up there on their own and they're screaming down at everyone non-verbally. And they think they're like a blackbird, but they're actually like an extremely mechanical, like deranged black parrot. Do you like, love, and or trust them? I think we might like each other. I don't think we love each other, even though we say we do. I don't think we trust each other at all, like at all. Rate their connection out of 100, like a 10. But when we need each other to kind of like, or maybe I use that one more than she uses me. I feel like sometimes, because this person to me is like, people think they know posh people, but this one, if you plucked this one's like aura out, it would actually like be as this screaming kind of like a, it's so old and so posh that it would actually like terrify the common reader of the newspaper. And it's like, does that make sense? Like, it's, and no matter how much she tries to hide it and kind of like act cooler, it's like the world's poshest person that's completely dissatisfied all of the time. Like, all of the time. How upset would I be if they stole my man? I think they could steal anyone's man. And I think if they did steal your man, the guy is like looking for like a gothic painting he can put up in his house that will haunt it. Because for some reason he's decided that he wants to be old school, kind of expensive, like old money, but the British way. And I think if she did, I would kind of like look at it and be like, I've been worried about it and I'm seeing it. And I think I would just kind of shrug and be like, is it over now? You know? Like, can I... It's not one foot out the door. It's like, we've been in it for too long and I don't think we're actually allies. Would you ask them to be your bridesmaid? I'm not sure I'd invite them to my wedding, actually. What surreal scene are you in? Okay, if this helps to kind of put it in context. So we're in a dinosaur egg, and she keeps trying to make me whiter and fatter, and keeps speaking in tongues that I'm convinced are the mouthpiece for Satan. But she keeps saying that this is her being a Puritan, and no matter how hard I try to break through the shell, I keep getting reverbed back, but I'm the only one actually worried about her, and everyone else thinks she's totally normal and well. I think that's it. If that makes me sound insane, then right. This is somewhat done in order, by the way, from oldest to newest connections. Right, next one. What lipstick product are they? I need to get wipes or something. I think I'm kind of back in lip balm territory here. Oh. I'm not sure I even have all of my lip products. I might need to get my bag. I think this one's like a cocoa butter Vaseline. But if there's like a really kind of bougie English version of that, or like expensive English version of that, then like a heritage kind of National Trust House version of this. Are they an asset in the arena? No, I think this one's doing Survivor in the arena, but with niceness. I think this one would quickly. She'd be one of those people where she knows when to hide, she knows when to come out, and she'll kind of kill you with a smile. Yeah, I don't know. Do I like, love, and or trust them? I like this person more than maybe anyone else that I know. I think the love we get confused on, but we say we love each other. And I actually think I trust them. But we always want to test it. Like, we always... I think I've mentioned this before. I think this is another person where it's like, we think we don't know each other at all. And it's more superficial than it is. And yet we always prove to each other how well we know each other really. Which makes it strange. Because how much close contact outside of school have I had with this person overall? I don't know. It's a difficult one. And yeah, I would say this is, if you ask me who my like female best friend is, I say quite a few, but this is like top 3 people I would respond to that question with. How upset would you be if they stole your man? I think we both struggle with commitment, but it's not that neither of us are people who know how to love. Tough to explain. They're maybe a little bit snaky in that department, and I worry about them a lot. But I think if they did, I'd be like, I knew it. Would I ask them to be a bridesmaid? I think it'd be weird if they weren't, but that's also kind of not their role in my life at all. So maybe not. What surreal scene are we always in together? This one's so weird and might not be doing us justice, but I just, this is what I had to get out on that. We are both crocodiles, but she is a royal underwater jellyfish pretending to be an old working class crocodile and already has every answer on the sea world, but keeps acting like she just studied it. And we keep getting booked for a lesson themed lesbian postcard furry artwork on Tumblr made by someone's 45-year-old wine-drinking biology teacher. I don't think she'd even crack a laugh at this. That's the thing. And yeah, this is one of those people where if I had like a tomb and I had to put a name in it, she'd crack like top 5 names that I'd put in it. And it doesn't feel that intense. Like, we're kind of always in a slow boat together, I think. And I think she thinks she's more of a man of action in it than me, but I'm kind of running the boat, actually. And I wouldn't disappoint her in the way she thinks I would. I don't know, I could talk more about this one, but it all feels like picking up like unfinished wood carvings that someone's chucked aside and kind of trying to string something together about it. But I also talk about this person a lot, even though we've kind of lost contact. Perhaps because she's so much more successful than me at the moment that I want to kind of be like, oh, look, one of my best mates, you know, she's the reader, she's the, you know. Anyways, next one. Did I write this one down? I know exactly what I want to say for this one. Oh, I just realised the amount of names I'm missing as well. Might be longer video than I thought. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if I wrote this one down. No, I didn't. Okay. What lipstick product are they? Okay, this one needs to be, like... I'm not sure she'd actually like this lip product, but I think this is how I view her, and this one's kind of grubby, but this kind of, like, glittery, pale... pink. Are they an asset in the arena? I feel like they're, like, in a Protestant church in the arena, but they're kind of locked in it, and they're like with a treasure chest, like a pearlescent treasure chest, because they've been picked up by pirates. For being like the world's oldest mermaid. And they've had a point where they've been a pirate because of it. And they have like fantastical knowledge that isn't necessarily useful, and the Protestant church is trying to figure it out, but they're in hiding in there. Sorry, this one, that's just come out of me. And I feel like they're a strange one. They're a bit of like a blonde hair unicorn lady. In the arena. Do I like, love, and I trust them? I'm not sure we figured out whether we like each other. I think we love each other the way, like, aunties love each other. And we both trust each other in an insane amount, and then none at all. Rate their connection out of 100, maybe like a 65. This one actually feels a tiny bit like heavier than we give it credit for. This is one where we're like both kind of nothing to each other and a lot. How upset would you be if they stole your man? I can see this one stealing my man. Um, and every time they're in a like a perfect marriage together, every time they're in a perfect marriage together. Um, so again, it might fall in the category of like they potentially needed her all along, and I knew it. Um, like, but she'd kind of be annoyed that I said that, and she'd try and be like, "Oh no, I'm just not this. I'm not like this wife archetype that you keep saying I am." You know. I think she tries to combat it by being more like this, like relaxed blonde lady that is sensual, that is Wallace Collection. Um, but I just always see her as like a mother and a wife, but like not in a bad way. Not like that one's never amounted to anything other than kids. Like I think she has these qualities that I don't in that department. Um, would I ask them to be my bridesmaid? No. I feel like with this one, I worry I'd invite them to my wedding and they wouldn't come. Um, what surreal scene are you always in together? Okay, so bear with me with this one. We're like in a gentleman love blondes, kind of like Marilyn Monroe scene together, where I'm pure black, she's pure white, and we keep like trying to turn each other grey because although she's a blonde, she actually looks way better in black lingerie. And even though I, at a soul level, am a brunette, how cringe does that sound? I feel like I love being pink, like pink haired every once in a while, but I'm actually a brunette. And I always look better in white. So we're in like a 1940s style expensive lingerie ad all of the time, where we're trying to break away from the stereotype of blondes looking better in white lingerie and brunettes looking better in black, because we're actually the other way around. Okay. Next one. I forgot about this person, which is insanity to me. This is like, I never shut the fuck up about this person. Okay, this is the last one for this video as well. What lipstick product are they? They're like a beige kind of brown. This one needs sharpening. Like lip liner. Are they an asset in the arena? I think this one is always like 1 second away from being in the control center, and she's like at the door, kind of slamming at the doors, like trying to punch the walls, but they're not letting her in. So she keeps like trying to kind of adapt and survive in the arena, but she's kind of in the middle, like she's in the center of it. And she has all of the kind of the tidbits that she needs to blend in, but she's really like pounding the door for the control center, and they're going, it's harder than it looks, it's harder than it looks, we're not sure, but she's kind of pounding her fists at it. Rate the connection out of 100. This person would like, I think I would go fundamentally insane without them, because they're sort of like, they're not a mirror to me, but they're like a person where that's kind of what I always needed from birth by my side to feel completely sane. And I'm always worried that I'm bringing them down. like that I'm like the like I'm worried that to them I'm like what they always fear women really are. And maybe I'm doing the same, but I think they're the correct version of it, and I'm like the shit one. But to me, it's like the idea of never having met this person in life would be complete and total. Like I'd be completely lost. Like I'd be completely like. So we're somewhere in between. You know what? Like a 24, and then on some days like a 300. But this one feels so significant that they could very well be the light at the end of the tunnel everywhere I am. How upset would I be if they saw my man? This one's kind of scary in that department. And they're in a relationship right now. But I feel like they know that with that, what do you do when you meet your friend's man? You could flirt with them, just so they can prove something. You could be awkward and kind of not really interact with them because you don't want them to worry about it. Or, you know, you could just be authentic and like, you know what, I actually like him more than I like my man, and make a move on it. And then if your friendship is as good as it is, then it would survive that. But I think if this one stole my man, then she might actually be going for someone that's too much like her. Because I think I look for her in the men I try and date. So it would be like they'd be too similar. I don't know. I have worried about them in this department though. Would I ask them to be my bridesmaid? I think they'd hate being my bridesmaid. And I'm not sure if they'd come to my wedding. I think it would be weird. I just don't know if... I think we're both kind of if we were having this conversation, we'd be like, yeah, weddings. And we'd be like, what the fuck do you do with that? And I've known this person for ages, and I feel like we've never really been the types to talk about that. What surreal scene are you in together? I wrote this one down, and I feel like it's on the nose. Okay, we are trapped in an off-cut straight to... I don't know why I put off-cut, but whatever, I'm just going to read what I wrote. In an off-cut straight to DVD, like really self-aware, vegetable test passing skit within an actual movie trying to be The Social Network about the women in it, and we keep wondering if we are gay or if everything just feels really, really slow. And there's an uncomfortable first-time saxophonist playing elevator music in the back, and everything is turning into flat-back furniture that can speak Spanish with an Italian mode, but we hate that. Right. I'm going to cut this video off here and move on to the next one. I might have to go looking for more lip products.